I got a new setup. Wow! New setup, new location, new office. I'm freaking pumped. I hope you guys like the new look. It is a little echoey right now, so I'll try to get some like echoless stuff. I think I have some like those like sound cushions that I can put in, but you know, whatever. Today we are on Chalet, guys, and we're talking about the best way to set up the Chalet defenses. That way you can maximize your effectiveness on your defenses right from the start of the round during the prep phase, which is when you would set it up. So for the purpose of the video, we'll just be playing smoke to show you the holes, good shield placements, and maybe you'll get some other operator tips along the way from me just kind of pointing out what I see, what I think, and how I kind of feel about the map. From my experience, you can draw some knowledge and maybe improve your defenses on Chalet as well. Starting off, we got the master bomb site, and I'll try not to talk too loud because I don't want my echo absolutely railing you. So the first thing we'll go over is the reinforcements on the master site, and you have 10 reinforcements like every other site. Of course, you'll want to grab these office walls. These are super important, but when you're talking about the ivy walls, you really want to only grab the one, and that is because with the other one, you can make these shotgun holes which allow you to hold the breach push in from piano. So because of these holes, if the attackers open up the breach and are going for that default plant, you can not only stop it from here in piano, but you can stop their push in from the get-go by just shooting them as they walk in through the breach using these holes. So if you reinforce it off, you're not able to do that, and then you actually have to hold the site from here and hope that the attackers don't clear you out of this position. The only thing you do have to be careful of is if they get control of the ivy area, you can't be playing here in office. You do have to back up, give up that control, maybe play over here, but then you have to worry about the K9 door. Typically what you'll do is you'll make this rotate into master, and that will allow you to play way back here, make these high level holes, and you can actually stand up on the bed. You can look at the breach from here. You can even get up on these boxes like, if I don't have, there we go. You can sprint up on the boxes and you can get these angles off the bomb to hold the breach. And this is a great way to hold the office push in. Now they could crouch in and get to here, but hopefully you have that piano player or that bathroom player holding them to push through on that spot. So this is probably the best way to hold this just in a default ranked setup. And along with your shield up on this piano, you should have absolutely no problem holding the push in through this breach just using these simple shotgun holes. So that was a lot of talking for just 3 reinforcements. So let's go on to the other 7 reinforcements that you still have on this site. I like to do both the solar walls just because it stops the attackers from being able to get on this rappel and just shooting open the wall and getting these deep lines of sight into the site. So getting both the solar walls I'm a fan of. Some people only get the right one because this is the one that gives you that deep line of sight into the closet, but I'm still just not a huge fan because if anybody is just baiting on this rappel or holding this angle through this wall, it could catch your teammates off guard, and that's a really easy way to just get kind of smoked. I would recommend just reinforcing both of these solar walls as well. Then what you'll do is you'll grab both these bathroom walls and then make footholds along this one. This allows you to hold the bathroom push in from here while being protected from the window. So if you have this reinforced, the attackers can't get outside this window and hold this angle and cross the site in half basically. They can only get this angle like to here. So that allows you to play here, and with this other wall reinforced, keep in mind, you can shoot any attackers who come in through this solar door from here safe and covered. You can even sit in the closet to do it and see them run through. You can even like go prone here like this and have the couch to watch your back. But it just allows a little more flexibility around the site and allows you to play a little smarter, and it gives you an advantage on the attackers if they are trying to push from this way without opening new angles or using your utility to clear you out. So the next thing is you want to definitely make a rotate on the wall here. This just allows you to get through this closet without having to push through the office, because the office can get cut off from an attacker on this balcony just holding an angle through it, right? So you don't want to have to use that as your only method of rotation. So this rotate allows you to come from solar into here and then into piano again to retake this control. A little safer than just running through office and that being your only option. So to cut this off, they'll have to get on the big window, which, you know, this could be a tough shot, but another thing you could do is just open up this little hole. Any roamers underneath can shoot anyone upside down rappel in this window. This is a very simple but super effective counter to anybody rappelling on this window. So highly recommend do it with any operator. Just make this little hole, and now all of a sudden you're a little bit terrified to upside down rappel. And you do have to be careful because they could just be staring through it just to clap your cheeks when you peek it. So, you know, maybe just be a little careful. I wouldn't recommend opening the hatch. A lot of time, if the attackers do take underneath, they'll just kind of stare up through it, and sometimes they get freebies by just looking up through the hatch. So I would just leave it soft, don't really worry about it. And then if you do need to shotgun it to drop down later, you can always do that later in the round. You can always drop out and rotate using it later in the round if you need to. Okay, so at this point you have 3 reinforcements left, and this is kind of up to you what you want to do with them. You can use them all downstairs to roam downstairs and hold that area, or you can extend out into library side and hold this area as well. I pretty much always like to do this single library wall and make the shotgun holes along here. That just makes pressure for the attackers trying to jump in this window. It forces them to drone it to see if someone's actually playing here or not, and if they don't drone it and there is someone playing here, then that's just a free kill for you to peek out and kill that guy as he hops in the window. So I like doing this setup, and that leaves you with 2 walls left. So you can either even extend out and do these box walls as well, just add even more support over here. And then I like to open both the library hatches just for my roamers to drop down and rotate out from this area if they need to. So there's a lot of rotations on Chalet. It is a very small map, so you do kind of have to stay on your toes in terms of rotates, dropping out. There's a lot of holes you have to make. It is a pretty complex. Really, you just got to grind it out and try to remember these things, because they're all just little things that when added together, they'll increase the power of your defense. So yeah, if you want to use the 3 over here, I would recommend getting this box wall, the library wall, and this other one, or you can just do that one here. You could even take all 3. And then if you're roaming downstairs, I like to get these lobby walls just so they can't walk into lobby and spray you through this wall, or buck open this wall and open all of here. So this can cover your back as a roamer, and while you focus on pushes in from like West Main or Trophy, so you can use this table to your advantage, and then you have the reinforcements at your back if you are roaming. This hatch you can also open from up in office. I'll actually show you what I mean by that right now. Okay, so from up in office, you can actually just go prone in the floor here, and it only takes 1 pump to open this hatch. It's a single bullet. It'll make it through the floor and through the hatch at the same time. It takes 1 shot. You can open that hatch super easy, and that just helps your roamers out as well. So there's a lot of running around. I would recommend like going and opening the library hatches first, and then coming back and doing the site setup a little bit into the round. That way you are safe on site while you're doing the rest of the site setup. So get the far stuff first, and then come back and you can do all the holes a little bit into the round, because the attackers do have to get out of spawn, actually get to the building before they start shooting at you, adding pressure and trying to like kill you. That's how the game works. Some people do like making a rotate through the bathroom. I prefer to just leave this one soft. The reason I'm not a huge fan of the rotate is if they do get on this window, they can literally just stare through it and cut it off. So this bathroom window is already very powerful. You don't need someone sitting out here just waiting for a defender to walk through a rotate to get absolutely smoked. So it just keeps you a little safer, and that way if the attackers do take the bathroom control, you don't have to worry about them coming through multiple entrances either. You know that they can only come through this doorway if you have no rotate in the bathroom wall. Now you can still pressure them from those holes like I mentioned before, but the rotate it's just a little too much, and you really don't need it. The last thing I will say is if you do have the extra time or shotguns, pellets, then you can open up the floor of here of West Main to watch the push up the West Main stairs from people coming in from Trench. This will catch a ton of people off guard. A lot of people like to attack from here and just run up here with Ash or whatever. So if you want to completely ignore the rest of the setup and just make this one hole, this is a little trick that can get you tons of kills, especially if people in your rank will push from this area. And the last spot I'm going to show you is just above the trophy window here. You can watch the hop in through the trophy window from this hole as well. You do have to be careful because it's pretty obvious. So if they drone it out or they open the window and then you hear them get on a drone or whatever, I would just kind of bail on it, add the pressure, because this is a very easy like nade through the floor or just a pre-fire from outside the window. So not super great, but it is something that does add a little bit of extra pressure to the attackers. You can also open this hatch for if they are coming from big garage, just a little more worried about somebody dropping down behind them. The other thing I really like doing on this site is opening up the wall like this and putting my shield back here as a smoke player, because what you can do is you can actually deny the half wall plant from here with your smokes, and the shield gives you cover from the breach, makes you feel pretty safe. You do have to worry about the K9 door a little bit, but the more you back up, the safer you are, and you can just keep tossing those deep smokes to deny that default plant. Now this is pretty easy to clear. You can just ash it through the floor, nade it through the floor, clear the person from big window. Like if they're on this window, you're not able to play here. So it's not great, but sometimes it can catch people off guard and be just what you need to win the round. So if you have the extra shield, this is one I also recommend, and I ignited the smoke too early, so you have to wait for it to hit the ground, obviously. Man, I'm loving this new setup. It's so different looking, from the pink walls to the yellow walls. I had like pink insulated walls before, so having actual walls is kind of crazy. Now let's go to like everybody's favorite rank site, the basement. I hate this site, but it ain't too bad. It ain't too bad. Competitively speaking, not a huge fan, but rank speaking, we'll make it work. It's very simple to set up as a smoke player or shotgun player, whoever you are. Really, you only need to make one hole, and that would be this rotate right here. So if you have a teammate that will run impacts, or you have a teammate with a bailiff, like an alibi or whatever, then they can make this rotate, and you can actually run like FMG9 or MP5K if you're playing mute, or whatever, whoever it is that you're playing with a shotgun, you can run the other primary and just have like a better gun on site, because this is really the only rotate you need to make. For actual reinforcements, of course, you want to get the exterior walls. So these 2 snowmobile garage walls are going to be absolutely massive. Usually you'll try to keep that closed. A lot of teams don't even push there anymore, but just reinforce them. Get this wall as well. That puts your tally up to 3. The 2 trench walls and the 2 other wine walls, that will put you up to 7. So realistically, you just want to reinforce these, because then the attackers have to come open this as hard breachers. It's very awkward. It's very annoying. And it's really not fun, especially if you have wall denial on this wall, because you then have to nade it off from this little hallway, and that can get clustered, and defenders swinging aggressive here, and et cetera, et cetera. It can just get really tight as an attacker. So reinforcing off these walls along with these other 2 walls is just simply the move. For your shield, you'll have 2 spots you'll want to put your shield here. Either right here on the pillar, backed up a bit, so that way your teammates can put some ADSs here to protect it, or like some Midas up here, or whatever it is. Option 2 is putting it next to this cabinet, and this is a super sick shield. I love this shield. I just think it's so cool, because you can open up this cabinet. Now you can just use any gun to shoot this open, or you can impact it if you really want. But then if they run in, you can actually just shoot them from here, because they'll probably be pre-firing the top of the shield. So the shield's almost like a little bit of a bait, but at the same time, it protects you from this trench breach if they do open that up. Now, if they don't open up this wall, you should probably just win the round, because you can deny all the plants. You smoke this off. They're pushed in already. You come here like this. You kill the cover. You kill the planet. Whatever it is, dude. It should be pretty easy to win the round if they don't open this wall. So reinforce the wall. If they don't open it, you should be good to go. You'll want to get the closet hatch. This one's super important. A lot of people play in connector, especially if they're pushing that front side, because once this breach is open, you really can only contest it from here, this shelf here, which is super easy to nade someone off this spot, the blue door, the rotate here, and connector. So if they open this hatch and you lose connector control, the attackers from the breach really only have to worry about these 3 angles. So if they smoke off this, you're getting swung from here or here. But if you lose connector, they can plant here very, very easily, which you can hold from above the connector hatch. So vertical play is actually super strong on this map, or on this site, sorry, because you can open up connector hatch, you can hold off connector from up here, you can even open above the single wall from lobby, which allows you to hold the rotate, and at that point, there's only 2 other ways they can peek from. The main stairs, which is super easy to take out if you have this control, you can come down main stairs and kill this guy, or the blue door. So at that point, you're just planning here. You're just planning here because you know that they can't swing from here, right? So it's super powerful to get the vertical play. Which is also why it's very important to get the hatch, because you don't just want to sledge walking in and opening the hatch and completely destroying you. It'd just be bad. It would just be really bad. So forget that hatch. On the other hand, though, this wine hatch is one that I never reinforce. I always open this hatch. Whether you're playing up here or not, opening this hatch is super powerful. You have the shield on pillar anyway. If you do have the roamer up here, they can use the 2 last walls to get their dining walls again, like I mentioned on the other site. They can hold this area with a shield, whatever it may be, and then they can hold the push in from trench. They can even peek over here and watch the push in through the door a little bit. So having this hatch control is actually very, very strong, because this default plant can't go down. You can watch the push in from this breach, and this is a very awkward fight to take as an attacker. So very defender favored gunfight, and a lot of people just won't clear this. You can even just barricade off your kitchen door, your west main door. Maybe you come over here and you shoot a few drones first, or whatever it is. You sit up here. If they do clear you out, you just drop back to site. You've wasted time. You've wasted their utility. They may not know what's going on, and you're back on site safely while adding all that extra time waste to your defense. Now, if you just reinforce it off, you can't contest this. They don't have to clear you. But if you do open it, they are actually forced to clear you if they want to do this back take. So opening this hatch is way more powerful than you would actually think. If you do find you play teams that roam clear a lot, whether it's the rank you're in or because you're on console or whatever it is, opening hatches on these basement sites is so strong and so easy. So if you're opening these hatches up, what this allows you to do, just add pressure. Whether you have a roamer up here or not, the attackers who are then crouch walking through the map, or if they're not droning properly, or if they're not full clearing, they then have to worry about being flanked from these hatches, being shot from these hatches, say you have an attacker who's just looking around like this and they just walk in the barn, they don't realize the hatch is open, there's a guy sitting there and he shoots in the top of the head. Whether that's happening or not, they have to at least worry about it. So opening them adds the pressure whether or not you have the roamers up there to actually kill them. So if you want to do that, of course you need the shotgun, unless you have like 12 impacts that your team is bringing to just impact all the hatches open. But that is one good thing the shotgun is good for on this site. One thing I forgot to mention about the rotate as well is you want to make it on this side, because if you make it on this side, it gives the attackers a really long angle from blue that can actually see all the way back into pillar. So if they're back here on these stairs and they look through your rotate hole, which is right here, they can actually see all the way back here by the back side of pillar. So if you're standing here like on the shield or whatever, you can actually die to this guy on blue stairs. So that's why you want to make the rotate on this side. So the next site we're going to talk about is bar gaming room. This is not the gaming room. This is the bar. This is the gaming room. This site along with the dining site are both very complicated. They're complicated default setups, but they are so strong and criminally underrated sites. These two sites are great. If you guys are not playing these sites, try to get into it, especially if you have a 5 stack that you can actually like work on strats with, because they are a little more complex. They require a little more teamwork, but they're very strong if you know how to play them right and set them up right. So for bar games, you want to reinforce these 2 stock walls and open up holes along literally every other wall here. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. So by opening up all these holes, you can play in here to contest the window. If you have a mirror window on this wall is absolutely huge. But you can not only play here, but you can play here and watch the push in through the bar door from here as well. And then you'll have your rotate right here to be able to get between the sites without exposing yourself to that window. You're not exposed to anything by rotating between the 2 sites here, so that is where your rotate's going to be, because you don't want to rely on having to run past all these holes in that window to get into this site, right? And you can't only have one route of access, which would be this hallway. So having this rotate, absolutely huge. You want to open up this hatch because this default strategy, although it's advanced, it is a vertical stretch. You go upstairs and basically you have players in this area somewhere, but they can come to the hatch and deny this default plant or the game's plant from above if like the team doesn't clear them out ahead of time. This then forces the attackers to clear this out, or else they're probably gonna lose. We gotta hold above a little bit better than just opening the hatch. So what we'll do is we'll reinforce this wall, make holes along these 2 walls and this 3rd wall as well. And then we'll reinforce this one along with that box wall. So that puts our reinforcement counter up to 5, I believe. And then we'll get the hatch as well, so that makes it 6. So this hatch is important to reinforce because it shows you all of bar. So if the attackers do take the top control and they have this hatch open, you basically can't sit anywhere. So you're anchoring the site from bar, so you want to make sure bar's protected if they do get the top control. So reinforcing this hatch, very important. Now, a lot of people reinforce these 2 walls, but what I like to do is make the footholes along this wall and then reinforce these 2 fireplace walls. So by reinforcing these 2, they can't rotate between the 2, and they also can't take out this lobby default cam. And this lobby default cam is so strong on this site because it shows you the push in the front door, the push up the main stairs into bar. You can see short haul a little bit. You can see the hop in the canine window. You can see if they're in library, if they're top fire. So much info that is so important on this site. So by reinforcing these 2 office walls, it makes it a lot harder to actually shoot this camera, because the only place they can really shoot this from is if they walk into the building where they're exposed to multiple different angles. So reinforcing the 2 walls and keeping this default camera up is super good. Now, there's 2 different spots you can put your shield. This would be probably like my second option, facing this ivy window, because then it allows you to sit here, peek the library windows from here, but you're protected from the ivy window then from this shield. But the more important one is the top blue shield, because this allows you to hold the ivy hallway. So comboed up with some ADSs or one my discs in these beams, having this shield alive is super sick. The other thing, and the reason we made these footholes, is because then you can see their feet, peek off of it, and pre-fire at head level through the wall to kill attackers who are in this room. When you reinforcement, what happens is they can Habana it or thermite it and make it very easy for them to clear the shield from this wall, right? They can just come here, they can throw their stuff over, burn, nade, whatever, clear the shield. But by making those footholes, it makes it a little more tough. So I'm just a big fan of the footholes here. And at least that way they have to kind of swing in to get this shield. Now, the other reason we make these holes is because you can see all the way back library from here. So if you have someone with a 1.5 scope, I mean, if you have a rook, like great, you have a rook, you definitely want them in this spot, because what this allows you to do is you can actually sit in library and hold piano. So if they are coming all from that northeast side of the building, they're pushing as a full team from here, like their K9, their office, their piano, their ivy window, they're not touching library at all, and you can contest these long angles that they're probably not ready for, and you can definitely catch some people off guard who are peeking them overly aggressive without the drones that they probably won't be able to get into library at that point anyway. You know, once they have enough control, you can just drop out as a roamer, waste time, shoot drones, etc. You do have to worry about this K9 window because they can't get on those repels and get this far angles in the library. So typically you want to be chilling in this corner with like a wide disc ADS, something to protect you from being naded out. But this is an absolute power position for this site, because not only can you contest games and bar, but you can test every other direction that they could possibly push from. So the last two walls we're gonna get is this dining wall right here and this short wall right here. And the reason we're gonna get them is because these holes give attackers super powerful lines of sight if they get dining control. So from here, they can see into that closet, they can use your own holes to hold games, etc. So if they were to open both these walls like so, they could sit all the way back in kitchen with an ACOG, a 2.5, a 2X, a 1.5, whatever it is, and they can really just pin you down in sight. You can even hold the blue stairs fall off from here, which is why this wall is also super important, because you can hold the rotate off of the blue stairs from here as well. You really just don't want, as a defender, you just don't want to be completely cut off from this spot. So really the reinforcements come down to blocking off as many OP angles as you can on this site, and those are the ones that do it. Those are the ones that will do it for you. Yeah, so that's the full setup for this. This is way easier with multiple shotguns. You don't have a lot of time. Again, you want to try to do the offsite stuff first so you can come back and do the site stuff after. So like doing these holes along site is probably the last thing you want to do. Right away, run upstairs, do the holes you need up there, come back to site. Hopefully your teammates know how to reinforce, because you're definitely not going to have time to do all the holes and all the reinforcements for this site. So lastly, we have the kitchen and dining bomb site. Now I am just gonna keep playing smoke for simplicity's sake, but if you are a little more of an advanced player, castle is an absolute unit on this site. I am a huge fan of the castle strategies on this one, so I might mention where to put some castle barricades along the way, because castle is so good. Now, of course, castle already has a long enough setup with his barricades, so he's not gonna be the only guy making all the shotgun holes at the same time. So kind of take it with a grain of salt, and if you have friends who wanna help you set up these, then absolutely run the castle, run the smoke, run 3 shotguns, and go to town with these strategies, because basically the more people you have putting in the effort on these strategies, the more complex they become and the way harder they become to attack. So we are in the dining site. Now we'll get these 2 dining walls. This is just absolutely necessary. You don't want them walking into fireplace and just locking down the site right off the bat. So reinforce these 2 along with this one. You don't want them coming into bar and getting an angle on the site by just shooting through this wall. So we'll reinforce these 3 walls, but this is the one that we will put footholds on. And what this allows you to do is, firstly, you can peek like this, but you can also stand up on this case and just see them as they run by. So if they walk by or they're crouching down this hallway, and I made them a little high, so I'd make them a little lower, but you can shoot them through the wall, or you can just pre-fire them on this doorway. When you see that they're coming down the hallway, you pre-fire them as they hit the doorway. Easy kill, easy clap, easy money, easy elo. So again, that's reinforce all 3 of these, and then the footholds along there. This is a great spot to castle. If you are bringing the castle, this would be your castle number 1. Next up, open the hatch. This allows you to drop out of sight, rotate back up through the west main stairs if needed, and it's just one way to rotate, so just make it, just do it, trust me. You'll then make this rotate beside this box. This allows you to not just get pinned down in this area. Like say they're holding you from this hallway and they see that you've gone in here. You don't want to be pinned down. You want to be able to rotate out of this area. So rotating into kitchen is your escape route. Otherwise, you're stuck in this corner. They could nade you, they can flashbang you, they can do whatever. You're gonna die if you're stuck here. So making that rotate, very important. Reinforce this wall and then make some head holes or throwable holes. Now it depends. I like running the mirror here. Mirror is super good on the site. So if you have the mirror, you can actually punch this pot a ton and put your mirror on this wall. And then, wait, I lied. You wanna reinforce this one. I lied. So you can reinforce this one, put the mirror on it, and then what you can do is you can either do these holes so you can throw the smokes or nitro or whatever, or you can do them a little higher so that you're not exposing your head when you peek out off of it, right? That being said, why not just make another rotate right here? That way you can get out from this mirror spot without having to rotate all the way around through the door. That takes a little bit of time, but if you're on this mirror, you see them run in, you come through this rotate, you come through this rotate, boom, all of a sudden you're in their face, you're in their ass, and they are dead. That's a great way. Trophy holes, absolutely necessary. You don't want to reinforce this off. A lot of people reinforce this off, which is a huge mistake, because then the attackers can just hop in this window, only having to worry about really just the one anchor spot in trophy if nobody else is in there. Because every other spot you can nade out from the window. If they see you're here, they can nade you out. If they see you're here, they can nade you out. If they see you're here, they can nade you out. They see you're here, they can nade you out. So it's very hard to hold trophy if you don't open up these holes, because this is literally a fight that the attackers cannot win. They can't nade you out here. They can't flashbang you. Second they hop in the window, boom, they're dead. You just shock them in the face. So making these holes absolutely huge. But we're not done, baby. You want to reinforce this west main wall, this left side here, and then make head holes along this one. This one is one you'll definitely want to head level, because what this allows you to do is have a trophy player playing on this wall and peek the breach from here. So this is where like a castle would play, an echo would play, anyone with like a 1.5 really, because they can contest west main hop-ins from here. They can test the push up the west main stairs, the breach, but also the trophy window. So that establishes a crossfire on the trophy window with your other holes, and this is a great spot as well. But if that is not enough, you can still make a shotgun hole above the trophy window just for that tiny cherry on top pressure for people trying to come in here. And now while you're up here, go prone, shotgun open that hatch, just another escape route if one of your teammates do get caught up. Reinforce this hatch. You don't want to open it up because the attackers get the top control, you can see all of sight. It's really just not great because they will probably smoke you if they do get that control. So don't open that, reinforce it along with these two office walls. So now you have office walls reinforced, you have the hatch reinforced, you have a bit of a setup up here, but not enough, nowhere near enough. So make a rotate through this closet, and then you're not going to reinforce the solar walls this time. They could get on those solar walls, so that's something you have to be careful of if you are rotating away from this. But instead of putting our shield piano, because we don't need to hold the office site, because it's not the bomb site, we can move our shield back here. And I love this shield. This shield is awesome. You can still contest the push into piano. You can still see if they push into office, but you don't have to worry about them planting the bomb in here because it's not the bomb site. Now, if they don't clear this out and they are going for the dining site, absolutely retake this area, take this control, because what you can do is you can just shotgun above like later in the round to hold the breach. You can shotgun over here to hold the doorway. So this is just a great, really strong way to help your team on site, because if they're going for a plant over here, you got it on locks. They have to take the entire site and kill all your teammates on site to actually be able to plant the bomb. And even at that point, if you know where they're at, you can still shock them through the floor. Oh, he's playing behind the bomb? Boom, not anymore. He's dead. You have vertical control. The whole site, the whole top of the site is soft. So that's another reason why you should be holding up here, is because if they just take it, they could open up everything and everybody will die. So at this point, I believe we have 2 walls left. So we're gonna throw those suckers right on the office wall. Just make it more challenging for them to take up here. So at this point, because you have the office walls reinforced, they either have to open that up with a hard breacher or they have to come through piano. So if you are stacking the hell out of the shield, you're putting ADSs on this wall, Midas and the beams. If you're just throwing everything you got at the shield, it's gonna be very difficult for the attackers to push this. Now you could even sit here with a pump and just wait for them to get point blank range to just quick peek up and shock them, or quick peek off the side and shock them, or bait them on the one side and quick peek the other. Very nice way to hold this area and just shut down the possibility of that vertical control. Now, if that wasn't enough, you can also make the west main holes from the earlier bomb site to support your team even more. You can hold west main from up here in bathroom while still being aware of that piano push. So you can do this. You can even make holes here for the windows if you want, for the other window. This is the hole you'll see for the hop in through the window. They'll hop in right here, land about here, right? So these holes are also super powerful for this site. Dining, criminally underrated. Once again, criminally underrated site. Absolute slapper of a site. And the one thing I did forget to talk about is the rest of the castle. So castling off this is good because if they get on that big window pedal, they can't cut this in half. They can't hold you in there. So that's a great castle, along with the K9 door is also very good. The west main windows are also good. The trophy window is good. Pretty much the rest are kind of up to you, but definitely you want to do that dining door that we did earlier, and this one if you are playing the castle. Those are 2 pivotal castles for this site. And the last holes you can make if you really want to put a little bit more into it, if you have the time, you can make these holes, and this allows your teammates to head glitch the solar stairs, and if they do come through that office wall, they can hold this area like this and push and hold it that way, which is pretty nice. So guys, that's every site for Chalet. Those are they are more advanced setups than most maps. Chalet is a very small map, so you kind of have to add a little bit more to it in order to make it a little more complicated for the attackers to actually understand it and be able to deal with it. Even if you do understand these setups, you still have to understand how to attack them, and you still have to peel back the layers in order to actually get to the center of the defense to the point where you're actually getting what you want to try and win. So it's the best way to make them complex enough that they're stronger than whatever the fuck you're doing. I hope you learned something from this video. Share this with your friends. To learn more, go watch my other map guides if you want to learn the other maps, I guess. All right, peace out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.